Hello and happy Sunday, folks. Welcome to a new news video where I give you a weekly roundup of what's been going on in the world of video games, as well as highlighting a few small indie games that you might have missed whilst you've been doom scrolling on Steam. All in an effort to get you caught up with the happenings in gaming. I'm calling this weekly roundup series Ready Check, and it will be delivered to your retinas and ear holes via a slightly sarcastic British man. You're welcome. This week, Deltarune is at long last in the hands of players. We finally get to take a look at Project 007, and yes, I'll talk about the Switch too, okay? Earlier this week we saw PlayStation's State of Play, and this one was kinda spicy. Notably, we saw some gameplay for Silent Hill F, the latest entry in the beloved universe where someone forgot to turn the fog machine off. Alongside plenty of stunning visuals and gameplay, it was announced that you can play it on the 25th of September 2025 on your PS5. I won't be doing that because I don't like fog. I also don't own a PS5, but that's besides the point. We also got a sneak peek at Romeo is a Dead Man, an acid trip action game. Digimon Storytime... is that what it's called? Storytime Stranger? Digimon Storytime Stranger, a universe I forgot even existed, let alone had a game releasing on the 3rd of October 2025. And Pragmata, a completely original story about a dystopian future where robots have rebelled against humans. I'm honestly surprised someone didn't think of it sooner. At least you can tell someone cared a lot about Diana's hair. Ghost of Yotai also teased that they'll be showing off some gameplay next month. And Marvel Games showed off a lengthy demonstration of their Smash clone, Marvel Tokon, Fighting Souls. I don't know who asked for an anime Marvel, but your wish has come true, and I'm glad it's here. And we finally got to see what IO Interactive have been cooking up with Project 007. Not only did we get plenty of stunning cinematics, short snippets of gameplay, and the title, 007 First Light, we also got to see budget Tom Cruise as James Bond in a very non-budget 1960s Aston Martin DBS, as well as a release date of sometime in 2026. At least we'll get to see more gameplay of it later this year. I'm a massive fan of the Hitman games, and if this is Hitman with more fuckboy, headhunting, I'm here for it. Summer Game Fest just wrapped up too. We got waifus, vast amounts of gore, and the star of the show, no, not Capcom's reveal of Resident Evil Requiem, SpongeBob. Yes, that's right. If you liked Hades, what better way to relive your childhood memories than by playing as the spongy guy while beating up bad guys in plate armor? I feel like I missed that episode. There was a lot announced at Summer Game Fest. Like, a lot. Too much for me to cover in this video, but I'll go over what I'm personally sat for. Mortal Shell 2 looks like exactly what I wanted Mortal Shell 1 to be. They showed off a ton of gameplay footage, and the folks over at Cold Symmetry seem to have really tightened up their mechanics. Death Stranding 2 had a trailer of a therapy session, just what I needed. Somehow though, the folks at Kojima Productions managed to make even a mundane thing like therapy a gripping watch. End of Abyss seemed like a hybrid of Dead Space and Little Nightmares in that it's very fleshy. It's no surprise that the studio behind this are ex-Tarsier, the makers of the original Little Nightmares. This one might be one of my favourites shown. Jurassic World Evolution 3 embarks on a new adventure of doing, well, exactly what you did in the other two games, but this time alongside the familiar narration by Jeff Goldblum and plenty of dinos being carried around by aircraft, you can also get punted by a T-Rex. Sold. The last thing that I wanted to highlight from the Summer Game Fest is the aforementioned Resident Evil Requiem. Releasing early next year, this new era of survival horror looks to be a promising way for you Raccoon City fans to, from what the trailer suggests, live through the traumas of the main protagonist. Good times. There was a lot more announced at the Summer Game Fest, far more than I can cover in one video. I'll leave a link in the description for the full video, and a card in the top right corner so you can see what else you might have missed. Deltarune has released at long last. This retro-styled tileset RPG is the latest creation by Toby Fox, maker of the ubiquitous Undertale. Early reviews, surprise surprise, are overwhelmingly positive, with over 20k reviews already. Who could have seen that coming? I've yet to play this, but I can already tell you that the soundtrack is great. So, if you want another game that you won't be able to stream on Twitch without people swarming in to tell you that you're playing it wrong, your time has come. Speaking of Twitch, this is where I shamelessly promote my stream, which you can find on twitch.tv/DanTheMan. There's a link in the description if you want to follow. Also, if you're enjoying this video, consider subscribing. These news videos will be coming weekly alongside full-length reviews and more silly content. You know what's not silly content though? These indie games that you might not have heard of. Islands and Trains is a cozy, stress-free island sandbox where you build islands and then craft railway dioramas to go on those islands. How could you possibly spend your time better? Anything's an improvement over listening to a British man regurgitate news in a witty way. CraftCraft takes the hell of working in retail and makes it all better by putting it in a fantasy setting. In this game, you'll create jewelry and weaponry for your customers. In return, they will tell you about their lives. And pay you, of course. And if you like stress in your game, perhaps you'll like Void War. This FTL-style roguelite is set in a grim dark future that is definitely not Warhammer 40k. They might hate Xenos as much as Blood Ravens, but they have a legally distinct emperor. You'll find links to all these games in the description below, and if there are any indie highlights on your list right now, feel free to let me know in the comments. Now, it's time for the real reason you clicked on this video. The Switch 2 has just been released. No, I'm not happy about the price increase, and yes, I'll be getting one anyway. Why did they have to make Mario Kart an open world battle royale? All I know is that if there are any collectibles in Mario Kart World, you won't be seeing me for 5 to 10 business days. What can I say? I'm a simple man. Reception of the Switch 2 seems to be pretty good with a few minor gripes, completely valid when you've waited nearly a decade for a sequel. I'm sure we all remember Fallout 4. Notable criticisms are the plastic screen on a £400 games console, and the lack of 120 FPS output when docked. There was also a whole fiasco where people had receipts stapled through their Switch 2 displays, however I don't think we can blame Nintendo for that. I personally hope that the 120 FPS issue can be fixed in firmware, and that they had the foresight to put a USB-C output on it that is capable of 1080p at 120 FPS. Surely. Units for the Switch 2 didn't get into the hands of reviewers until very close to the release, likely due to firmware polishes. So there is a whole bunch of first impressions out there, but we'll have to wait a while for the full reviews. Which I personally don't mind because they're sold out literally everywhere right now, so honestly, take your time guys. I'm in no rush. And that about wraps things up. But what do you think? What were your favourite announcements? Did I miss anything? Leave a comment below, and if you enjoyed this video, maybe give it a like. It's free. Also consider giving me a follow on Twitch. Most of the games discussed here I will likely be playing over there at some point, so you may as well follow there now. Links to everything spoken about today will be in the description below, and there will be another news video next week, so consider hitting that subscribe button. Anyway, I'm gonna go touch some grass after all that screen time watching game trailers. See ya!